Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one. Hope all is well. Former Colorado player and insider thinks Coach Prime and his coaches are not developing and coaching their players. Um, they're saying that there's no development going on at Colorado. They're not even coaching their players correctly. They don't recruit correctly. This is a lot of things that is being said about Coach Prime right now. And I'm going to show some snippets of Bucky's last video because it's very telling. He posted their last game last year around this time when they played Texas Tech, as opposed to this year. So he's showing a contrast from this year's team to last year's team. And what I took out of that was this is a rebuilding team. They lost a lot of talent to the draft. And I think everybody can agree with that. They lost a lot of pros on that team last year. Jimmy Horn is a pro. LaJohntay Wester is a pro. I believe Will Shepard is on the practice squad. Correct me if I'm wrong. Will Shepard. They lost Shador, of course. They lost Travis Hunter, of course. They lost Cameron Stillman Craig, of course. They lost BJ Green. These are all the players that they lost to the NFL. And they lost Chidozie. He played a very important role on that defensive line. Shoot, even in this game, Anquin Barnes was doing really well in this game. Okay. This was last year when they played Texas Tech. They lost Shiloh Sanders. He played a very important role on that defense. He was always at the ball. Okay. Cameron Stillman Craig was always at the ball. Anytime you see some action, you'll see number 7 and you'll see number 21 at the ball at all times, even Travis Hunter. So when you lose that type of firepower, you have to rebuild. Now, former Colorado player, I guess you guys already know who I'm talking about. He's saying that, and then he was talking to somebody else. They said Coach Prime inexperience as a coach is to blame for this season. And his they keep saying his gold jackets. The reason why they keep saying gold jackets is it's like an envious type of thing. They keep mentioning it. But his coaches, they're saying that this is the inexperience. But they didn't say that last year. They didn't say the inexperience last year. They didn't say it. They hinted at it last year, though. They did. When the timeout situation came up last year, they did hint at it. That's how I know they was waiting for this moment to try to drag him under the bus now. But I have to remind you of something. Have to remind you of something, and we're going to get into that. But I don't like to take people words out of context. So we're going to listen to what he's saying. And then I'm going to give my opinion on it, you give your opinion on it, and we'll go from there. But he is incorrect when he's saying this man can't coach. He's incorrect. Now, let me just say this. Any coach that's listening, whether you coach Pop Warner, you coach high school, you coach college, you coach the NFL, you coach the CFL, you coach the arena football, you coach European football. One thing everybody can agree on is you're only good as your personnel. Okay? You're gonna hear what former player I'm talking about in a second because we're gonna listen to it. Um, but the point of my show today is you guys wasn't really saying he couldn't coach last year. You didn't say it the first year either. You didn't say it the first year. You guys didn't say it the first year when he coached at Jackson State when they went to 2 bowl games. You didn't say he couldn't coach then. Okay? You got to take his whole record in college football. He is over 500. He's a winning coach. He has more wins than losses as a coach. He has more wins than losses as a coach in the span. Let me see. In his 5-year career, he's in his 5th year now as a college coach. Say 5.5 because I don't count the COVID season. Let's just say 5. If you want to count that COVID season, but I don't count it. So let's just say 5. In his 5-year tenure as a college coach, remember, prior to him coaching college football, he didn't have any experience coaching college football. He did not. He had experience coaching high school and then Pop Warner. Okay. Being that he only have a 5-year resume for college football, he won more games than he lost. Okay, so these people, when they're hating right now, they're not talking about the totality of his whole career as a college coach. You're not, and they say, well, he needs to go to the high school, he need to recruit more in high school. Guys, I beg you differ. You're not looking at the history. He got Travis Hunter out of high school. He got Cameron Silman Craig out of high school. He almost got Jimmy Horn out of high school. Did you know that? He almost got him out of high school. He recruited Jimmy Horn to come to Jackson State, but Jimmy Horn stayed in Florida. Okay. So when these people start talking, they don't know the whole history of the whole totality of him as a coach for the past 5 years. They don't. They don't know. They didn't like him in Colorado. I'm just telling you this. My beliefs are, these are just my beliefs. Looking on the outside in, these people that's talking, they don't like the fact that he's in Colorado. I don't either. I'd rather for him to be somewhere in Florida. That's just my personal preference. My personal preference is I'd rather for him to coach at Florida State. That's my personal preference because I'm a Florida State fan. I have told that if people know me when I first started this channel, I'm a college football on Florida State. But I'm rocking with Coach Prime here because I'm documenting a moment in time. I'm not a prime sexual, like you say. Okay. I'm documenting. I said this in the beginning when I first made this page. What is my purpose of making this page? I'm documenting a moment in time. You have a historical football figure. I'm talking about historical football figure. That's not up for debate. He's a historical football figure. As a matter of fact, he's a historical athlete. That's not up for debate. Just like if I say Usain Bolt is a historical athletic figure, that's not up for debate. You might be too young to remember Coach Prime's impact on college football and NFL. You might be too young. That's okay, but I'm here to go back in a moment in time and educate you. Not everybody. I'm not talking to everybody here. I'm talking to one specific person. He's too young to remember Coach Prime playing in college. He's too young. He's too young. He probably don't even think Coach Prime ran a 4.2, but he did. He did. He did. He was one of the fastest people in baseball. Him and who? Kenny Lofton. Do you know who Kenny Lofton is? No, they don't. When I think of fast people in baseball back then, there's a lot of people. Ricky Henderson, he's one of them. Kenny Lofton is another. Coach Prime is another. Bo Jackson is another. I could go on and on about the fastest in baseball. But when we're talking about historical figure, I'm talking about athlete. I'm not a prime sexual. That's number one. These people cannot debate with me. They cannot hold my jock strap in a debate on this situation as to whether he can coach or not. Yes, he can. He can. Again, I'm gonna say this. We going back to his 5-year career. I'm gonna say 5 years. I don't count the COVID year. I'm saying 5 years. In 5 years, he won more football games as a head coach than he lost games. Again, all coaches can agree with me. Whether you coach, whatever rank you coach, you're only as good as your personnel. Okay? Yes, you have to develop your personnel, and he is developing the personnel. They're saying that they don't develop players in Colorado. He is lying. He's lying. Let me ask you a question. If anybody is listening, be honest with me and press one if he's not developing Draylon Miller. If he's not developing him, no, if he is developing him, press one. If he's developing him, is he developing Omarion? Yes, he is. Omarion came there as a freshman. Draylon came there as a freshman out of high school. Okay? Out of high school. Ryan Staub came there out of high school. Ryan Staub came there out of high school and he's still there and they're developing him. Okay? Okay? And now he's calling the players turds. I can go deep on why he's saying turds. I can go deep on why he's calling them turds. Yes, Jordan C10. You for this guy, he's on a small bus. He might have took too much football hits, but on a small bus. Jordan C10 came from high school. He's developing Jordan C10. He does not have any control over people who wants to leave the program and go elsewhere. That's what happened to Dylan Edwards, sir. Now he's saying Dylan Edwards is a problem. You don't know Dylan Edwards like that, nor do you know his family to call Dylan Edwards a problem. Just because Dylan Edwards is back in the transfer portal doesn't mean that he's a problem. This is the nature of college football now. People hit the transfer portal. How dare you, sir, call someone's child a turd? You have you might have some type of issues going on now. They call someone's child a turd. They're not turds. I know why he's calling them turds, though. You guys probably don't know, and I'm not going to explain it. There's a reason why he's calling them that. That's what they often refer to us as. There's a reason why he's doing it. Okay? He might say, no, I'm talking in football sense. No, you can't hide your hate. You can't hide it. You can try to troll me all you want to, sir. You can try to joke on me all you want to, but I triggered a nerve in you, though, because I'm sitting here getting you told. I'm way much older than you. Okay? I've been watching football before your ass knew what football was. I don't care if you played for the Jets. Okay? You're too young to know the impact Coach Prime has had on football, period. You're too young. You don't know. Okay? When the first Deion Sanders shoes came out, you were sitting there as a snot-nosed ass kid. You don't remember. Okay? You don't remember. Now, for you to say that Coach Prime is not coaching and he's not developing his players, I beg you differ. He developed a Heisman Trophy winner. Let me repeat it again, since you on a short bus. He developed a Heisman. Yeah, Tony, you might be right. He developed a Heisman Trophy winner. Sometimes, Tony, it takes people a little while to develop. It doesn't mean that they're garbage. Just like it took a few other players about a couple years to develop. Some players they ready out of high school, and some players it takes a while for them to develop. Sometimes that's why you have freshmen at redshirt. Sometimes they got to hit the weight room a little bit and develop and own their skills. It sometimes it depends what football program you came from. Maybe they didn't come from a top tier football program, so they have the skills, but they just have to develop. As long as they have the want, you could develop a kid. As long as that kid has the want and desire and the talent, the coaches will do the rest. Don't worry about it. He developed a Heisman Trophy winner. Okay? There was no other coach in college football last year to say that they developed a Heisman Trophy winner. I'm talking about winner, not candidate, winner. Now, Ohio State might say the same thing this year. when Julian saying might take down the Heisman Trophy, or the Indiana quarterback, he might take down the Heisman Trophy. Okay, as far as I'm saying, them the two front runners, and the wide receiver from Indiana. The wide receiver from Ohio State. They're gonna say it this year. One of them are gonna be able to say that they developed a Heisman Trophy winner this year. But last year, we have to go back in time because you guys are like in my Roy Jones voice, you must have forgot. And guess what? You too young you too young to understand what I'm talking about right now when I say you must have forgot in my Roy Jones voice. You don't remember Roy Jones saying that because you're too young. Sir, you're too young. Mathematically, it's impossible to remember that. You're too young. You must have forgot though that last year he was the only coach to say that he developed a Heisman Trophy winner. Also, he was the only coach to develop a Heisman Trophy winner and a Heisman Trophy runner-up in the top 10. That was Shador. Okay? He's the only coach. There's no other. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying that they can't develop players. They're not developing players. You're lying. You're lying. I know why last year that you don't care about no Heisman Trophy winner. You don't care about that because you didn't want none of those guys there. You don't care about that. But you either that or you have amnesia. What you mean he's not developing players when he developed the Heisman Trophy winner? I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that Travis could have won a Heisman Trophy anywhere. That might be the case. However, there was no other coach in college football that was going to let Travis play that many snaps. Okay? That's a fact. That's not up for debate. Because you see it happening in the NFL right now. They're not letting him play that many snaps, even though he's sitting over there not even breaking a sweat. He's not even breaking a sweat. I believe he's bored out there. Okay? He's an unbelievable athlete. Yes, he is. But Coach Prime let him fly. And that's why he won the Heisman Trophy. And that's why it was fitting for Coach Prime to be there. He hugged him after winning the Heisman Trophy. And it was fitting for Shador to be there too, because if it wasn't for Shador throwing to him, he wouldn't have took down the Heisman Trophy. I'm glad them two gentlemen was there because they helped him win the Heisman Trophy. You don't win the Heisman Trophy by yourself. You got to have a team to do it. I didn't see you saying that he couldn't coach last year, sir, because you was all grinning in his face when he interviewed with you. How come you didn't say it then that you need to go to the high school ranks? Why didn't you say it then on when you were interviewing him? If that's what that was in your heart, you should have told him. How come you're not taking some of my kids? Why don't you take some of mine? How come you're not going to these kids' homes? How come you're not developing kids? You should have said it right in his face if you're a man. You should have. But now you're sitting up here now going on different people's channels saying some incorrect stuff. It's incorrect. Incorrect. None of you said last year that he couldn't coach. Not one. You didn't say he couldn't coach at Jackson State when he went to 2 Celebration Bowls, albeit they didn't win, but he took them to 2 Celebration Bowls. Prior to that, they didn't go to no Celebration Bowls in a long time. He went to 2. He won the conference title twice in his young coaching career. Twice. See, this is an unusual situation. You guys don't deserve him there. Let me tell you why. This is a very unusual situation. He doesn't need college football. He doesn't really need it. He don't need the money. You keep saying that if he quits, he won't get the $50 million. Sir, he don't need it, really. He been rich. He been rich since the 1980s. Did you know that? No, you don't know that because you don't remember. You were a child then. You don't remember. He was rich since the 1980s. Okay? He was rich for multiple decades already. He's what you consider in sports world old money. In sports world, he's old money. Even my mother know who Neon Dion is, Deion Sanders. Are you crazy? Even she knows who he is. He's known the world over. Very unusual circumstance here for him to be coaching. You know why? Did you know that he spent many years in the broadcast booth. He's a legendary sports analyst. Legendary sports analyst. And then he retired from that to go coach. And now he's here coaching here now. They're developing talent as we speak. They're developing them. Okay. The New York Giants is having an off year. And they have Jackson Dart there. They're having an off year. Yeah, they fired the coach. But sometimes teams have an off year because you're in a developmental phase. Let's see what the Giants do next year after they finish developing and get more picks. Sometime you cold and sometime you're hot. But one thing Coach Prime said, fans only blow when it's hot. I never forget when he said that. He's right. Now let's get into what you're saying so we can chop this fable. I'm going to chop this fable for you and break it down, sir, until you're tired. Because you're lying. Now you're lying now. And who sent you? Because I know they sent you. You know why I know they sent you? Because you said that. No, I'm going to put Coach Prime up. You said that, well, you keep talking about if he quits, he don't get the 50 million because you don't want him to get it. You want him to quit. I know. But we're going to sit here and hear what you got to say now.
The last 2 weeks before this was embarrassing. It was good to see the team play their asses off the way that they did. Now, there's still a big problem with execution. There's a big problem with play calling, although it was better. I think there's a big problem with running the football. Seaton was out. You know, they started the Roy kid.
All right. All of that, what he's saying is okay. It's okay.
52. He lasted about 3 series because he was getting absolutely murdered. So that's a personnel call. I don't know why they didn't play Xavier Hill at tackle like they should have when they put 71 from Memphis over at tackle. It calmed down.
The only reason why they didn't play Xavier Hill because you don't know why they didn't play Xavier Hill. You're not with the team on a daily basis. He could have tweaked something. Something could have went down. We don't know why he didn't play Xavier Hill, sir, because you're not there. Mr. Insider, you said you were part of the team that brought Coach Prime there. So how do you don't know why they didn't play Xavier Hill? Why don't you just call him and ask him? Why don't you call and ask him why he didn't play Xavier Hill? Because you're the insider.
And Juju found his rhythm. Look, it's 2 bad football teams that have lost close games that are trying to figure it out, and it just happened. If it would have been in Boulder, probably CU would have won, but it was in Morgantown, and West Virginia got it done.
Say Coach Prime is way behind in high school recruiting when he just got somebody from IMG. You have to go read the news. Don't read what these bloggers are telling you. You need to go read the news and see who their upcoming recruits coming in. Go look. And go look what the schools they came from. Go look. They're not behind in high school recruiting. Who's saying this? You have to go look at the news. Go read it. All you got to do is go on your phone and do a quick Google search and find out the incoming recruits, or go on their website and you'll see it. They're not behind in high school recruiting. They're actually not.
And Rich Rodriguez did a good job. There's a lot to fix, but I'm taking silver lining in this regard. Merritt, Davis Swain, Juju, Gibson. I mean, just and I'm forgetting about 6 or 7 other young guys. They're all freshmen, like high school freshmen. So
yeah,
I hope and I'm praying, and I'm actually going to stop.
Brandon Davis Swain is not a freshman. He's not a freshman. He's a sophomore. He was there last year. Brandon Davis Swain was there last year. Okay? He's not a freshman. Yes, they got him out of high school. Yeah, they did. And they're developing him. And he's still there.
Suggesting players and start almost demanding that they look at these guys.
He said he's going to stop suggesting players and almost demand that they look at these guys. Who are you, sir? Who are you, sir? Sir, listen, you're in no position to demand that Coach Prime look at your players. You're in no position. You never played a World Series and a Super Bowl. You never been in one. He was in a World Series and a fucking Super Bowl. You have no place to sit here and tell him how to coach. None. There's levels to this thing. That's like me going to tell a doctor about his job, and I'm not a doctor. Yeah, you're a football player, but you can't hold his jock strap. Okay, so let me just say this. Yeah, you could keep suggesting players, but don't sit up there and demand. Who you think you are to sit up there and demand? Who the hell you think you are? Just because you played at university don't mean shit. It's your attitude that stinks. I don't care if you played at the university, your attitude stinks. So I wouldn't even associate with you, sir. Never. Let's listen to it again.
So
Yeah.
I hope and I'm praying and I'm actually going to like stop suggesting players and start almost demanding that they look at these guys. If your best players are all freshmen, you're recruiting wrong. The transfer.
Stop. Stop right there. He said if your best players are all freshmen, you're recruiting wrong. He's only been there 3 years, sir. And it's an off year because last year he lost so many players. Last year, he's rebuilding again. He didn't have this team for the past 6 years. I can see if he had the team for the past 7 years, then I'll say, yeah, something ain't right here. Something ain't right. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years. He's rebuilding. He has to rebuild. It's unfortunate he got to rebuild. Those players weren't going to stay there that long. Travis and then he was 3 and done. Shador was a senior. Solomon Craig was a senior. Shadozy was a grad student. He had to rebuild. He's rebuilding. But when you say that you're going to almost demand players, you out of line. You're in no position to demand nothing from nobody. You might think you have equity in that university. You don't have equity in him. And you have a problem that he has the keys to that program because you keep saying it. They gave him the keys. So you go talk to Rick George and them. Go talk to them and go complain to them.
Portal is not the key, bro. Like, if you bring in 38 mercenaries and then like people are like, oh, you're not loyal to this and you're not loyal to that. The people that aren't loyal are the 38 mercs you brought in.
I guess when he say that he bring people from the transfer portal, they're mercenaries. Jimmy Horn wasn't a mercenary. LeJontay Wester wasn't a mercenary. Shadozy wasn't a mercenary. They weren't mercenaries. And a few other states, like what the kid from Alabama is not a mercenary. These are football players and they're student athletes. They're not mercenaries. Did you know most of the people that he brought in that are grad students, they have their degree already. They're working on their masters. They're working on their graduate studies. These are student athletes. They're not mercenaries. And they're not turds either. No, he don't care about the battling cancer that he battled. You're going to hear it in a minute. He's going to mention that. He got deep, man. He going to mention it. He going to mention the cancer. That cancer don't mean shit to this dude that's talking. You don't understand that? He don't give a damn if he had cancer surgery. He going to say it. He going to say it without saying it. You're going to hear it in a second. I'm glad you brought it up, Yasharel. He don't care about that. He don't care about he had some troubling situations in the off season because he did. You know what I'm saying? He could have easily said, I got to give this up. I got to retire and I got to go rest my body. He could have easily said that, but he likes what he's doing. This is his passion. Didn't he say that? He said football is his passion. Coaching is his passion. But this guy, he ignored the passion part. He ignored that. Okay, you might have a losing season. You might, but he's still passionate about what he does. That's all that matters. He'll eventually turn this around. Shit, we say that Shador Sanders need to have patience, right? Just have patience. He gonna start. Damn, these people need to have patience. But that's not it with these people. They don't want him there. They never did.
Those are the people that aren't loyal to Colorado or to Coach Prime. They only care about themselves.
Or D1. That's just D1 now.
Yeah, and that's just D1. So I think that there's a lot to be, if you're a real Buff fan and, you know, you really support Coach Prime, I think there's a lot to be enthusiastic about moving forward. I thought Juju looked, I mean, come on, man, with 8 sacks and getting hit every other play and his hair ripped out, to go no interceptions, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns and 300 yards on the road. I thought it was a very good opening game for a freshman. I thought he was.
You know what I thought it was, sir? I'm thinking, here's my thoughts. He's developing a freshman. That's a freshman he got from high school, and he's developing, because you're saying he ain't developing these kids. Apparently he's developing him. Apparently so. Now, we might say, here's the thing. I had to even fall back on this. We're not with the program every single day. And you're not either, sir. Obviously, you're not. Maybe that's why you're sore about it. You're not there every day. We don't know why he didn't play Juju. It could have been he wasn't ready yet. And he's protecting him, because guess what, sir? Juju's supposed to be graduating high school now. That's how young he is. He's supposed to literally be graduating high school right now. But he got there early. So maybe physically he wasn't mature yet. Physically. Have you ever heard of that? Physically. He wasn't mature yet. Just like, for example, they have another player there that they're developing, but once he gained that weight, he's going to be a hell of a defensive back. Cole Mathis. Physically, he's not there yet. They're developing him. He's not there yet. Okay? So maybe physically there was something that they saw. They were like, look, kid, you're not ready yet. But we're gonna make sure you play this year so you can get some reps. But you're not there yet. Coach Prime doesn't have a problem, sir, in playing freshmen. Didn't he play Cam Michael before he got hurt last year? Didn't he play Draylon Miller? Didn't he play Brandon Davis Swain as a freshman? Didn't he play Jordan Seaton as a freshman? He don't have a problem playing freshmen. It was something that he saw, like, look, you're just not there yet, but we're bringing you along, sir. Okay? So let's continue.
Awesome. And now, does he have a lot to fix? Yeah. It's his first fucking start ever in Morgantown. So
now, Matt, let me rewind real quick. So
hold on, US. Let me spit this out and then I'll get it all out. All that said, the clock management issues are still there. They've got to figure out if they're going to have college coaches and Coach Prime's going to CEO this bitch, or if we're just going to like reload with pro coaches. I was at Alabama this last weekend with my son and went down there as a recruit. It was incredible. They are like, to hear J.C. Latham and Booker get up there and talk. You know, J.C. Latham is the tackle for the Titans and Booker is the first round guard for the Cowboys. To hear them come back and talk about their program. And I know it's apples to oranges, but it's all college football. And, you know, just even to have, listen to this, even to have Tyler Booker walk up to me and go, man, I love what you do, and we got to get some work in the offseason. If the 4-star offensive lineman that Alabama's over there trying to get to commit, CU hasn't even offered him. So in order to really maximize.
Now, it could be a situation where I see you didn't offer him because they're looking at somebody else. There's so many players around the country. You can't offer everybody. There's so many that you can't be everywhere at the same time. And also, sir, don't Coach Prime have a recruiting staff? Take that up with them. I need you to direct that to the recruiting staff and put a bird in their ear. Hey, listen, we got a 4-star recruit in Colorado. Can y'all take a look at him? I guarantee you right now, if I call the office of the recruiter at CU, I guarantee you they're going to say they didn't hear you say that. You didn't call them and say that you have a 4-star recruit in Colorado. And they didn't go talk to him after you said it, because they can't be everywhere at the same time. They might be covering a region. I know they hit Florida a lot, sir. They hit Florida a lot. And Coach Prime, he said it. He likes the players in Florida. You know why? Because he identifies better with those players at Florida, because that's where he comes from. So he might want to go to Florida. That's where he's at. That's where he's at with it. That's his personal preference, sir. But if you have an undeniable talent, oh, guess what, sir? Arden Walker is from Colorado. Arden Walker is from Colorado. And guess what? Arden Walker transferred back to CU when Coach Prime got there. He transferred back and never left. He transferred back to Colorado and never left. And he's on his way to the NFL. These people can't handle me, man. They can't. Because I have a very good memory. Arden Walker, go check. Go look where he's from. He's from Colorado. So don't tell me they ain't dealing with no talent from Colorado. He kept Arden Walker. Okay. He does have a preference in Florida, but he sure as hell kept Arden Walker. He sure as hell did. And Arden Walker stayed. Arden Walker stayed, right? And now look at what he's doing. He's one of the best defensive linemen we have on the team right now. And he's always at the quarterback. Always. Him and Twin. They're always at the quarterback. Okay? They're always at the quarterback. So if you do have a person like that, sir, you need to call a recruiter and say, listen, y'all need to go take a look at this kid. I'm serious. Y'all need to take a look at this kid. He's on a fast track to the NFL. And they probably will reach out to him. Have you done that? Probably not. You're just sitting up there running your flappers. That's what you're doing. And you know what? You know what's funny about this? I'm surprised at you, man. Because you sat there and interviewed. Coach Prime came on your show, 0 to 60. He came on your show and interviewed with you. You should have had a heart-to-heart with him then. Like, sir, you need to go out and recruit. You may have touched on in that interview, because I remember Coach Prime saying that he ain't hard to find. He ain't hard to find. He's not the type to be going to nobody's house when you got all this technology, when you could FaceTime him. He don't have no problem getting talent. He got Travis Hunter. He damn sure ain't got no problems getting talent. He got Jordan Seaton. That enough is said there. He got Brandon Davis Swain. He got Cam Michael. He got Draylon Miller. Sir, you just can't be in every region at the same damn time. He's only one person. But he ain't had no problems getting them. He ain't had no problems getting Omarion. He ain't have no problems getting Juju. So obviously they're doing something right. They're just having an off season. There's nothing wrong with it. You win some, you lose some in life, sir. But it's all about the bounce back. That's what somebody told me. When you down and out, and when you're losing, you're always going to have people talk about you like you ain't nothing. You're always going to have that. People question you, talk about you like you ain't nothing. When you having a losing season, that's when you know who the real people are that's with you. You know, when you're down and out. But what happens when he bounced back next year? Let's see what you say then. Or the year after that, because I'm thinking it's going to take 2 years for him to really build this shit the way he wanted. Give him 2 more years. And then I want to hear what you got to say. You could have told him there. You should have had a heart-to-heart talk with him. You got his number. All this shit you saying on video, why don't you call him and tell him? Since you care so much, why don't you tell him? But you know the crazy thing about this is he's not even studying you. He's not losing no sleep over this. He probably never even heard it. He ain't losing no sleep over this because they're building. He knows what he got. And somebody in here said that he's behind in high school recruiting. No, he's not. I just said he got Draylon Miller from high school. I just said that he got an IMG person coming in next year. I just said that. So that means he's not behind. You just can't be in every region. Oh, we got a good kid over here. Go over there. Oh, we got a good kid over here. Oh, we got a good kid over here. He can't be everywhere. He has a recruiting staff for a reason. Let's continue.
is this. They have got to look themselves in the mirror and know, and the missing piece to actually taking this over the top without Shador and Travis and Jimmy and all the guys that were literally like his family that are left. Now he's got to motivate and coach and scheme up all these guys that are just players. They're not necessarily his family members anymore.
You see that? Hey, that's just his opinion. But I had to stop him. I'm being a little bit funny. He said he don't have his family members no more. This guy's a trip, isn't he? He said they don't have his family members no more. Dude, he don't have his family members no more, okay? So he don't have his family members no more. So he actually has to motivate and coach now. Since he ain't got his family members no more. This dude is off the hook, man. He off the hook. I give him that. He's off the hook.
Scheme up all these guys that are just players. They're not necessarily his family members anymore. You've got to change things. You got to do things differently. You've got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not doing this right. We need to change. And Juju should have been starting since day one. They never should have played Salter at all. That's just a fact. And I think that they're
all right. Let me stop right there. You ever heard the term hindsight is 2020? Hindsight is always 2020. It is. Hindsight is always 2020. Now that the season's almost over, I can easily say, oh, they should have played Juju. Right. But hindsight is 2020. They paid Salter for a reason. Go look at his highlight film. They paid him for a reason. And remember, Salter's brother came there too. And Coach Prime knew them since they were kids. He don't know that. Coach Prime didn't just find Salter out of the blue. He knew him already. Okay? He knew him already. He probably didn't even realize that he recruited Jimmy Horn out of high school. He don't know that. He don't know that. He been knew who Jimmy Horn was, but he wanted Jimmy Horn to come to Jackson State. But Jimmy stayed in Florida. He's been recruiting a lot of kids since he was coaching in high school. He doesn't know that. He know kids at TCU from high school. He doesn't know that. Coach Prime has been around these kids a while. He don't know that. So for him to say his family members, he's just off the hook with it. He's off the hook with it right now. Now he needs to coach now. Okay, let's continue.
I don't think there's any way in hell Coach Prime leaves unless he resigns. And if he does, he loses like $50 million or some crazy shit. So that's
on his mind. If he resigns, he loses the $50 million. But you said previously, to have a good memory, that you would, if he was to leave, you hope that he would resign so we wouldn't have to pay him the $50 million. That's what you talking about. We, you don't have $50 million to pay him. What you talking about? We, I know you played there, but this is not a we here that you're not paying him. But I know you hope that he quit so they won't get so we won't have to give him the $50 million, right, sir? Let's continue.
Not happening. They need to restaff to a point of, bringing in college coaches that can actually develop and put in, the right kind of scheme and philosophy to help the players on the field. It's just not working with Schumer, and I'm not saying Livingston doesn't work, but it's
not working with Marshall Faulk either, huh? Because they sure as hell got a running game this year, but it ain't Marshall Faulk ain't helping, is he? He can't coach, huh? You're not there every day. You don't know. You're not there every day. You don't know what they're doing. No, I'd rather have Marshall Faulk as the running back coach. I'm sorry. I'd rather have Marshall Faulk any day. He knows something about that game, and he's telling them. But again, Marshall Faulk can't go out there and run the ball, can he, sir? Coach Prime can't go out there and be a defensive back / wide receiver anymore, can he, sir? Or punt returner. No. But if he get the right situation and he give them kids some news that they can use, they're going to fly like Travis Hunter. I promise you. Travis not there yet. Wait till Travis get there. Okay? So I'm not discounting the kids now because they're developing. But we don't know what they're going to be like next year because it takes a while for people to develop, some people.
It's a little rough on defense, and Well, I don't know. There's going to be changes, but I don't think Coach Prime's one of them. And honestly, he shouldn't be. He had a great year last year. You don't want this. You don't want the follow up to be like this. But at the same time, I want, instead of firing him and all this other bullshit, I want him to fix it.
Oh yeah, they fire him. They're gonna owe him some money. I know you don't want him to fire him. I know that, sir, because you already said it. You said you rather for him to quit, so we wouldn't have to pay him the $50 million. Of course, you don't want him to get fired because they're gonna be on the hook for the buyout to pay him. Of course not. You want him to fix it. Like, who are you to say that? I want him to fix it. Yeah, because by birthright, you think you got some authority over him. You think you better. You know why? Ain't no man in his right mind that's respectful will say to another man, I need you to fix it. Who the fuck are you? I need you to fix it. Man, sit down and have a seat and let me finish cooking you.
No doubt.
That seems like a better course of action than just freaking out, firing everyone, and restarting because we're impatient.
You're impatient. And if they do fire him and pay him all his money so he can go watch his son play or go somewhere else, you guys are going to be back to square one. You ain't going to win next year, the year after that, the year after year after year after that. He's the only one that can to bring a Jordan seat in there, unless Coach Sapp be the coach. That's the only way I can see it. Unless y'all keep, like, if he leaves and y'all bring in Coach Sapp, I can't see y'all bringing in the top talent there. Because all the top talent going to only a few schools. They're going to Ohio State. They're going to Michigan. They're going to Alabama. They're going to Georgia, maybe South Carolina, maybe Clemson. There's schools or USC, UCLA. There's schools that these kids are more attracted to. I don't know if Colorado is one of them anymore. They used to be in the 90s. Remember, sir, because you said, well, we do have rich tradition. I know you did back in the 90s. I know. But we're talking about right now, though, because you have the mentality, sir, what have you done for me lately? So since we're going to have that mentality, what have you guys did in the past, I don't know, decade? Yeah, you did have some talent there. You did have Gonzalez, but he went on to Oregon, didn't he, before he went to the NFL? He transferred on to Oregon. He didn't stay at Colorado. Jerry Rice's son didn't stay at Brendan Rice didn't stay at Colorado either. He said he would have stayed if he knew coach was coming. Let's continue. You better bring in another bit. If you think they're gonna fire him, you better bring in Michael Vick. I don't know who you're gonna bring in to get them people there. Or Deshaun Jackson. You better get one of them. Because y'all ain't getting the top tier. I'm just telling you that. I hate to say it.
Fix it. Let's see if you can actually fix the problem that has been created.
And here's my take real quick. We got to get we got Chev on next. It's week 10, right? Or 9? What game was that? 9?
3 and 7. That was week 10, right?
Starting the freshman week 9. This is all goes back on the inexperience I've been telling everyone about with Deion Sanders. Not only his staff hires, but how he's managing the football game, how he manages obviously practice. If you watch if you watch Vrabel yesterday, his guys knew exactly every possibility in a game. The guy stopped damn near full speed and looked at the staff, said, should I take a knee here while he's running to score? Like, this is a coach's football team. At the end of the day, Matt and I talk shit about.
They're pros. You can't even. This is what I'm talking about. The pro coaches over there, they are not developing or coaching the kids.
That's what my point is.
All right, stop right there. He said the pros over there. He talking about Marshall Faulk and them. They're not developing or coaching their kids. So let me ask you this: what positional coach is Coach Mathis? What positional coach is he? Didn't he coach a Heisman Trophy winner? He sure fucking did. He sure fucking did. And he did it since Jackson State. They were developing him since Jackson State. They are developing players over there, sir. They are. It just takes a while. They are. They are developing players over there. The fuck is he? These people crazy. He keeps saying the pro coaches over there. He's jealous of them. He is. because he wants to be a part of it. I think that's my opinion on it. He wants to be a part of it, so he's sitting up there running his flap suckers because he might want to be a part of this program. Sir, if you want to be a part of the program, go over there and help out then. Since you know so much, since they can't coach and you can, why don't you go help them? Why don't you show up at practice and help these kids then? Like Randy Moss did. Like Randy Moss came out there. Like the Playmaker came out there. Like T.O. came out there. Okay? Like Deshaun Jackson came out there. He did come out there last year. Y'all remember, in the first year. Okay? Why don't you go out there? Why don't you go help? Since you know so much, why don't you go help? Like Coach Prime, I know how y'all could stop this run attack. I know how y'all could stop the run. Okay, well, come on out here and talk to my kids. Why don't you do that? Call them up. Say, yo, coach, I think I can help you, man. I really want to help y'all. I think I got something that y'all doing to stop that. Y'all doing something to stop the run. Y'all doing it wrong. Let me come help out. Why don't you come? Come help out. Be a part of the organization and stop being a cancer to it. Be a part of it. Or who sent you? Because I know what you said. The only way we're going to put pressure, because you said Coach Prime has the keys. And the only way we're going to put pressure on him is to do it through the media and through the fans. That's what you said. So is that what you're doing? Somebody sent you? That's what you're doing, to put pressure on so you can quit? Huh? Because that's what you said. You said the only way we're going to put pressure on him, because he said Rick George and them, they gave him the keys to the shit. So they not fire him. He's just doing what he's doing over there. And the only way we're going to put pressure on him is through the media. That's what you said. So is that what you're doing? Because this don't make no sense. You know why it don't make no sense, sir? Since you played there, you got so much respect there. Why don't you come help? Randy Moss came up there. He didn't even go to school. He felt the need to come up. Ray Lewis came up there. Why don't you come up there and speak in front of the team? I haven't heard you come yet up there and say shit. Speak in front of the team. Tell Coach Prime, let me get a minute. And why don't you come up there and tell the band of mercenaries and turds, because that's what you call them. You call somebody child a turd. You did. So since they're turds and mercenaries, why don't you come up there and talk to them like Ray Lewis did? Say, Coach, let me get a minute to talk to these mercenaries and turds to see how I could turn them into football players. Last time I checked, their family gave them a name. Last time I checked, they're not turds. You made it personal. You made it personal. You know what this is, sir? You ever heard somebody loud talking in the crowd, and then somebody is watching in the background, and then they just come up and pop them in the face? That's what I'm doing to you, but I'm doing it verbally.
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. That was all I was going to right there, because we pay these guys now, and then we call them this, but then we still say, oh, they're babies. Well, we can't have them both ways, because we got a bunch of Hall of Famers over there coaching them. And
no, I didn't say that. I said they're somebody's children. I don't know if these people listen to me, but ain't no commentator called them babies. Not one. I called them somebody's children, though. That's what I called them. And I called them student athletes. That's what I called them. But ain't no other vlogger going like this on him. Nobody. So who the fuck you talking about? And what have you done in coaching that was so fucking great, sir? Because you running your flap suckers too. Okay. This guy has a winning record. Coach Prime has a winning record since Jackson State till now. He has won more games than he lost. He has a winning record in his young coaching career, and he's just getting started.
or are we? Or are we just allowing a bunch of shit to go down?
I think that just because you played doesn't mean you can coach.
Hell no, it doesn't. That's my point.
We've said this 1,000 times, and I am in no way, shape, or form trying to disrespect the Hall of Famers that are in that room. We are not talking about playing football. We're talking about recruiting and coaching football. And if you want,
let me stop right there. All right, so I would submit to that and agree with him. That he said, well, just because you played don't mean you could coach, right? I would agree with him. And I also would agree with him. He said that I'm not disrespecting as far as what they did on the gridiron. We're talking about coaching. But no. I don't believe you because you said that he's a narcissist. You took this another level now. You called him out of his name. You call him a narcissist. Last time I checked, you're not a psychiatrist. You're not a psychologist. You're not a behavioral therapist. So how do you know he's a fucking narcissist and you're not around him every day? Huh? Or are you going off of his interviews? That's what you're going off of? They call him a narcissist? Huh? That's what you're going off of? Uh-uh. You made it personal now. You said it's through nepotism, it's ran on nepotism and narcissism. You said that. So you made it personal. So I would have slightly agreed with you what you just said. But that what you said when you call him a narcissist, that negated everything. It negated everything. If some of the players are listening right now, whoever listening, they sitting here laughing right now because I'm having my way with you. I'm using your words against you. You sitting up there calling them turds. See, let me tell you something, sir. You know why you get away with that? Because the players can't answer you back. Because it's going to look like they're being disrespectful if they try to get back at an elder. However, you're out of pocket. You don't call them no turds and mercenaries. You can say mercenaries, okay, I'll give you that. But turds?
Don't leave the building to go recruit, and you expect everybody to just come to you, and you won't walk in, even send your assistants to walk in to Valor High School or Vista High School or Cherry Creek to see Dave Logan, who played at CU, who's got like 12 D1 kids.
They went to the Hill. He don't know what I'm talking about when I said they went to the Hill. They went to the Hill and got somebody. They went to the Hill. But he won't know that because he don't know that they went to the Hill.
Kids, or you won't at least go to the hotbeds in Colorado. You know, if CU didn't recruit statewide, they never would have found Nate Solter. They never would have found a Matt McChesney. I went to Niwot, like a 3A school in the middle of nowhere. So they're missing out because they're not putting in the work. They think that like this is the NFL draft and guys are just going to. I'm too good to go out on the road or whatever the reasoning is, and it's not because he's sick, guys. He did this before he even got sick. He did not go out and recruit. Everything has come see me. And that
they went to the Hill. He don't know what I'm saying when I said they went to the Hill. They sure did. And some of the players that he acquired, he already knew them since they were kids. He don't know that. He don't know that. I'm talking about his whole, coaching career as a whole. I'm including Jackson State. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know that he's known some of these kids for a very long time. Okay. He don't know that. And he doesn't know what he's going to do in the future. Obviously, he couldn't get out there on the recruiting trail this year because he was sick. But he's saying that, no, he wasn't doing it even before he got sick. Sir. And his whole coaching career, let me educate you for a minute. For his whole coaching career since Jackson State till now, he's had a lot of surgeries. A lot of surgeries. Okay? He's been sick for a minute. He's had I wouldn't say sick. I mean, he just had a condition that he said is hereditary. And he's had a lot of surgeries. He had amputation surgery since he's been coaching. What the hell are you talking about? He hasn't always been having an issue. What are you talking about? These are unforeseen circumstances, sir. And he's still tough enough to continue to coach. He's still continuing to coach. He's still continuing to coach despite all the unforeseen problems. I mean, circumstances that he had. I wouldn't say, call it a problem. It's just that's life. People have, unforeseen events that happen. But he still persevered and he's still coaching. He still went to 2 bowl games. Actually, in his coaching career, holy crap. Hold on a second. Let me stop myself. In his whole coaching career, which has only been 5 years, I'm saying 5. I don't count the COVID year. He's been to 3 bowl games in 5 years. Now, I know what he's going to say. Well, Max, he lost all of them. Yeah, but he's still been to 3 in 5 years. Eventually gonna win some. It's just how the laws of averages are. I call that a success. He won more games than he lost. That's what I call it. Let's just do this, sir. When he finally finished his tenure at Colorado, let's look back at the wins and losses. Let's do that. You got to give him enough time. 3 years is not enough time because he lost a whole squad to the NFL draft. He lost a whole squad to the NFL. He needs some more time to develop the program, sir.
Resonates through his staff. Now, I will say this: the staff, although there are some unbelievable names on the staff, Warren Sapp has never coached or recruited a soul. He's never placed a kid. He's never.
Okay, stop right there. Let me rewind that again. I can't. Let me rewind again. Make sure I heard him right.
Warren Sapp has never coached or recruited a soul. He's never.
Stop. I used to see Coach Sapp at the University of Miami all the time coaching. He wasn't officially a coach, and he also helped coach people while they were in NFL. He doesn't know that. But I guess he's talking about as a coach on a official team. That's what he's talking about. But has he ever had any experience coaching? The answer is yes, he has. He just hasn't never officially been on a staff. But he has personally watched film and coached some NFL players. But as far as being on official staff, no. So all right, sir, check this out. So what we're going to do is, here's my suggestion. I'm not demanding you do anything, but here's my suggestion. Since you can do it better, why don't you go up there and help him? Since you can do it better. Last time I checked, you couldn't hold his jockstrap on that NFL gridiron. You damn sure couldn't. But in a coaching sense, maybe you can do better. So if you can do better, go help him. If you could do better. Okay, since you can do better, go up there and call Coach Prime. You got his number. You don't have Bucky on your show. Call him up. Like, look, I can help y'all out for these last 2 games just to build momentum into next season. I can help y'all stop this run attack. I can help y'all stop the blitz attack. Because I actually can coach. Since you can do it better, since they got to do this and that, what you need to help. You played there. Right? You said you had some you were part of him bringing him there, right? You were a part of that, right? So why don't you go help him? Since you know so much.
Never placed a kid. He's never. He doesn't know the coaches everywhere. He's just Warren Sapp, and that's cool. Marshall Falk, same thing. There's and then there's a bunch of friends around the entirety of the program that I don't think they tell Coach Prime the truth. I think they tell Coach Prime what he wants to hear, and then Coach Prime has to figure it out and go, okay, I listen to my consultants here who happen to be my buddies, and they led me down the wrong path, and I listened to them, and now it's my ass. And that's the way leadership goes. So for him to say there's going to be big time changes in the personnel department and the coaching staff and who we bring in.
All right. As far as a change is concerned, there was something I was surprised at when Ray Lewis came in. When Ray Lewis talked to the team, he got them to admit something I was a little bit surprised at. He was like, how many people dial in, like cut your phones off and get into your playbook and really watch that film and just dial in? He said, raise your hands. Raise your hands. And he looked around. He said, wow, only 3 people raised their hand out of 70 plus people. Sir, that's very telling. Everybody can lift weights. Everybody can run. I think this thing is 90% cerebral and 10% physical, meaning 90% mental, 10% physical. Everybody lift weights. Everybody's fast, but it's knowing the tendencies of your opponent. That will take you over the top. That's what somebody told me. That'll take you over the top any day. Actually, Ray Lewis, he said he used to dial in after each game and sit in his film room for 6 hours. He wanted to know when Peyton Manning took a piss and all of that. What he was saying was he wanted to know Peyton Manning's tendency, so he'll know when they're gonna run that ball and where it's going. And if he's throwing it, where is it going? That's how much film he studied. So I think that probably could be a change. Maybe the players will say, you know what? We need to really take heed to what Ray Lewis said. We need to watch a little bit more film. What did Juju say this past weekend? He said that he's on the bye week, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be in the training facility and he's going to be watching film. That kid's going to be great. Remember, I said it. He's going to be great. And what else did Bucky say after the game? What happened with Juju? He said he started crying. Sir, he's going to be great. And they're developing him. You know how I know he's not leaving? If he didn't care, he wouldn't have been crying. That's how I know he's staying. And guess what? Guess what? That was refreshing for Bucky and Coach Prime to see that. I'm not around that team. I don't talk to anybody. I'm not around it. But guess what? I bet you I know what happened. I bet you they pulled him aside and said, man, we glad you're here. We glad you're here, man. And they're developing him. He ain't going nowhere because he wouldn't have been crying. He'd have been like, oh, well, shit, I'm out of here anyway. The hell with it. No, he was sitting there crying after the game. Said it was his fault. A leader was born in that game. A leader was born. Hell, he might be a leader and a dog. But to sit there and get some of his hair on the ground, and he still didn't throw no intercept. He's still going at it. He a dog too. Let me tell you all something. Don't judge a book by its cover. Still waters run deep. That's an old saying. Still waters run deep. It's them quiet ones you got to worry about. But I saw a general out there. I saw how he was talking to them receivers in Bucky's film. He's a general. But he's a quiet one, though. But you cannot quantify, sir. You can't quantify somebody's heart and determination. You can't quantify that. There's certain things you can't quantify. You learn it in statistics 101. When you're sitting in college your freshman year. You know how you sitting in college that freshman year and you sitting there and got to take that statistics class or probability. And you're like, fuck, man. But then you learn a life lesson in that statistics class, right? You can't quantify everything. The heart is one of them. Ask Allen Iverson. He was skinny and just about 6 feet. Dunked on Marcus Camby in the Final Four. I'll never forget it. That was his last year at Georgetown. It was his sophomore year at Georgetown. He dunked on Marcus Camby. Marcus Camby, 6'11". You can't quantify the heart. And he's in the Hall of Fame, first ballot. He's in the Hall of Fame. And for him to be so small in stature and skinny, you know why he's in the Hall of Fame, sir? It wasn't me. He didn't win no championships. It was because he was instrumental in changing the game. When he came into that game, they had to stop playing man-to-man on him. They had to stop playing man defense. They had to go to zone. That's why he was credited to changing that game. That's why he's first ballot Hall of Fame, if you didn't know. Bubba Chuck. That's what we know him out here in Virginia as. I'm not in Virginia right now. I'm in New Jersey, but I lived in Virginia over 20 years. He's known as Bubba Chuck out there. And I see that in Juju. I see like, damn, he looks like he's like quiet or whatever. You can't judge a book by its cover. He turned into a leader and a dog in that game. His hair got pulled out. He's still going at it. He's still going at it, trying to get a touchdown. So you sitting up here saying they're not developing people. Yes, they are. They are developing people, and they found them in high school, sir.
I really hope that they start actually building a team and stop trying to buy one with other people's turds. Because look, this is now.
You heard it. You heard it. I'm not being petty. Other people's turds. Now, he's probably going to say that. What he's going to break down is he's going to say that, well, they're picking up kids' problems from other schools. That's what he's saying. Other schools didn't want them. So we're picking up other people's turds. That's what he means. He's going to say personally he's not calling them turds. You are, because you just said turds. You are calling them turds. You're supposed to be an OG over there. You're supposed to be uplifting these players, not calling them names. You're supposed to be uplifting them, not calling them names, not calling them turds. You're supposed to be over there like Ray Lewis, speaking to them, uplifting them. You played at the university. You played with the New York Jets. You played with the Denver Broncos. You're supposed to be an OG in the game. You're supposed to be up there and saying, and even though they're losing, despite them losing, you're supposed to give them up encouragement. Give young people encouragement. These are young people still. Not to sit there and call them turds. Why they listening to you, sir? These kids grew up on the internet. They listen to everything. And to sit there and call them turds, you crazy. And anybody in here know I went to bat for Kermani McLean when he was there. I know people was talking shit about him and all this shit. I said, watch this kid be great. Remember that. He's gonna mature into what he's doing. He's gonna mature eventually. And sure enough, he did. Some people, it takes time to develop. And sometimes certain things don't work out certain places. It's okay. Certain things don't work out. When you go to a job, the job is okay. They might be a Fortune 500 company, but it just, that situation is not for you. And you might find you excel somewhere else. It's the same with college football. And now that you got the transfer portal, it's just the way it is now. But to sit there and call them mercenaries and turds, you thinking nobody else wanted them? Maybe they wanted to come to see you. Maybe their team wanted them. Watch this. I can prove it. Khalil Benson. His team wanted him, but he chose to come to see you. Didn't he? And he went back to Indiana. Are you going to call him a mercenary? His team didn't call him no turd. The University of Indiana didn't call him a turd. He entered the transfer portal and came to see you. Is he a turd too? Is he a turd? Because he's starting right now. So was he a turd? No, he chose to come and see you. These kids choose to come here. They choose to come here. These kids choose to come here. Okay? So if they come there and they having a losing season, you going to start calling them turds now? You didn't call them turds last year. You didn't call Chidozie a mercenary. And you know what else he said? These mercenaries are never going to come back to see you. Didn't Chidozie just come to talk to the team? Yes or no? Didn't Chidozie transfer from Houston? Yes or no? He did. He only played there 1 year. Yes or no? Did he come back and talk to the team? Yes, he did. So I guess is he a mercenary too, sir? You don't know these kids. You don't know if they're going to come back. You don't know that yet. To sit there and say they're not going to come back to see you and they're just a bunch of mercenaries and turds. I know why you call them turds, but I'm not going to get into it.
Not trying to buy one with other people's turds. Because look, this is now what, 5 years of the transfer portal?
Let me stop right. He said this is 5 years in the transfer. Hold on, I'm gonna get back to what he's saying, but he's saying a lot. He really is. Let me go back.
Not trying to buy one with other people's turds. Because look, this is now what, 5 years of the transfer portal? Every single coach I've met with now, the narrative has totally changed. They want to go back and start recruiting high school kids and developing. They'd rather pay them and like
now one point.
Let me stop right there. He has amnesia. He does. He has amnesia. He hasn't really listened to Coach Prime interviews when he talks to Romy Bean and different other people. Coach Prime has said something about high school versus the transfer portal, and he said it's a problem right now. Coach said it. Now that he's seen the transfer portal for quite a number of years now, Coach Prime was the leader in that conversation, sir. He was the leader in that conversation. A lot of coaches around the country is agreeing with him. He also said there needs to be a governing body. Okay? He said there needs to be some type of regulation in this transfer portal. Coach Prime said it. He's the leader in this conversation right now. That we're having a problem in the transfer portal because it's like a mini NFL. Okay. Coach Saban, that's the reason why he got out of college football, because he saw the writing on the wall. He said, this is going to be a problem now. I'm out. But Coach Prime started talking about it. He said, this is a problem. He said, I'm talking to people, parents. They saying, how much can you give me? Coach Prime said, I can't promise you anything. I can promise you we're going to develop him and turn him into a man. That's what Coach Prime is preaching up there. I'm going to turn your boy into a man. I'm not promising the NFL, sir. Okay? He's not promising NFL. He's a leader in this conversation talking. He said there should be a regulation here of some sort. What are you talking about? Or you just don't have no memory, unless you have a short-term memory. Or you have some problem with your long-term memory, maybe. He's the leader in that conversation. He's saying that there should be a governing body. We're having a problem in the transfer portal because kids don't want to stay. Coach Prime said that. And you don't know what Coach Prime is thinking. He might be thinking that he do need to hit high school because he see that it's a problem in the transfer portal because he said it. He said it. And other coaches are agreeing with him. Sir? Other coaches are agreeing with him right now that it should be a governing body because other schools are having the same problem, not just Coach Prime. Other schools having the same damn problem, sir. Because you got some schools in the Texas area, they got their money is so long, they're going to sit up there and just buy everybody. Okay. And what did Coach Prime say? There was another problem that's happening. He said it last year, close to the last practice. What did he say? Y'all need to stop going after my kids, man. This is after Augusta was rumored to go to Virginia, sir. He said, this is a problem. He said, y'all need to stop going after my kids now. He said, because y'all, last time I checked, you're not supposed to be talking to them if they're not in the transfer portal. Huh? So you're sitting up here, he need to do this, he need to do that, he need to go to high school. He might be thinking the same thing, but you need to call him up on the phone and see what he's talking instead of assuming. Last time I checked, when you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. Let's continue.
Portal, yeah.
Yeah, have a kid that's like loyal to him in 2 or 3 years that really loves the university and like really wants to be part of it and build. And
Stop. What did Coach Prime say all the time in practice? I'm going with the kids I can trust. He said, you don't have to be the best athlete. I have to be able to trust you. Then you'll play. He just said that, sir. He's saying the same thing. He know it's a problem. He know the transfer portal is a problem because people are buying players. They tried to buy Travis Hunter from him. Remember when he came to Colorado, sir? And all the teams was offering Travis Hunter millions upon millions of dollars so he can go elsewhere. It's a problem all across the board. That's why he said there should be a cap. CAP, sir. There should be a cap on how much they're able to pay on the back end as far as the collectives. He is the leader in this conversation. He came out and said there need to be a governing body.
instead of just the guy who jumps school to school who can't, like Dylan Edwards is in the transfer portal again.
Damn.
Like, that's a red flag, dog. That's not like you're not a good player in the portal anymore. You're a red flag. So,
all right. So Dylan, last time I checked, Dylan Edwards is a good student. Last time I checked, he's a really good student. He's articulate. He's a good student. Maybe he's in the transfer portal because it's not working out there. That's all it is. Sometimes it don't work out. Sometimes the grass is not always green on the other side. And you have to, that's what, when life, you learn by trial and error, sir. You learn by trial and error. So these are young kids. I call them kids because I'm older than some of their parents. That's why I'm always, but they're not kids. You know what I mean? They're young adults. Sometimes you have to learn off examples. You have to learn off experience in life. Okay, he went there, it didn't work out. Maybe he'll go somewhere else and work out. There's nothing wrong with that. That don't mean he's a red flag. What's wrong with this dude?
the transfer portal is, there's two different areas. And I was talking to my guys about this week, and I'm sure Chev would agree. There's grad transfers, like my guy Drake Nugent, who went to Stanford for 3 years and was all Pac-12 and then graduated, and we set him up to go to Michigan. He was in the transfer portal for about 6 seconds. He went straight to Michigan, played his ass off, won a natty, went to the league. That's one way to transfer. And that's the way I think it should be. Grad transfers, you know, you've earned the right to move. This like team hopping and just trying to get a check and like your parents are involved and the first fucking thing is how much money am I going to get? It is played the fuck out and it is destroying.
I called it.
He just repeated what Coach Prime said. Coach Prime Ben said this. He said it's a problem. He said the parents are calling him saying, well, what can we get? What can we this? He said, I can't promise you anything. I'm building men over here. You think a lot of people want to hear that? Oh, you building men? You can't promise us nothing? Damn, you can't even promise us 800,000? Can you give us 800? Can you give us 900? 900 going once, 900 going twice, then 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. He's not doing that. He's saying this is we're teaching football over here and teaching young people how to be men. I can't promise you anything. And Coach Prime said it's a problem already.
It's not just destroying the fabric of college football; it is destroying teams. Like Colorado has a bunch of kids on their roster that are freshmen and sophomores that are way more invested and way better and have way more heart than the 38. Well, with the exception of maybe two guys with the 36 mercs that they brought in that are literally just putting on a jersey until they take it off. They'll never think about it again. They'll never come back to see you again. It'll always just be like, well, that was a bad decision I made. They're all looking for jobs come Christmas break. So you got to be really, really careful who you throw money and all that shit at. And then, you know, bringing in Brett, and I'm going to say this lastly, and then I'll get off. If you're enamored with SEC kids in the transfer portal, why are you not enamored with the kids in your own state that are being recruited by big-time SEC schools and offered? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Last time I checked, he has a Colorado plant. He has a homegrown Colorado player on that defensive line. That's on his way to the NFL. Last time I checked. Arden Walker. Last time I checked now. I don't know what I don't know what they're recruiting in Colorado. I don't know. Maybe he prefers certain regions. Maybe, you know, if there's somebody under now, maybe he'll go after the Colorado kid. I don't know. But maybe he just don't want to deal with you. Maybe that's it. And you hurting your kids because he don't want to deal with you. I wouldn't want to deal with you at this point. I don't care how many Drake Nugents you have. Let them go to somewhere else. I don't want to deal with you. You are proven not to be loyal. You're proven. I don't expect somebody like him to be loyal anyway, but I'm just saying it's a stretch.
You can't tell me that you want the 3-year turd that never played at Alabama and everybody wants to get rid of him and you give him $800,000 or whatever they gave Otis. But then the
whatever they gave who? He called somebody a turd. Who did he call the turd that came from Alabama? Otis? That's what he's talking about? Damn. He called somebody child a turd, just like that. And he don't even know the kid. And he's supposed to be a leader in that university. He's supposed to be somebody that they can look up to. And he just calling people, calling names. Sir, you're not talking about you're not to be counted on. Coach, last time I talked with Coach, or not me talking to Coach, but last time I heard Coach talking, he likes people that he can trust around his inner circle. You might call them his friends, but maybe he can trust them. You ever thought about that? We rather go down together. If we're all friends and I trust you, we going down this ship together. To hell with it. We out of here. That's it.
A 4-star number 1 player in your own state that's got Alabama and A&M and Ole Miss and Oklahoma and all these other SEC schools.
All right, but check this out. I understand what you're saying. Okay, so you got players in your state that's being recruited by Alabama and Ole Miss, but you're still not going to know what they're going to do until they get to your university. They could turn out to be busts. You don't know what they're going to do just because they're getting recruited by Alabama and this and that. That don't mean that he should take them. You know, he only go what he can go with. So if he did get Jaheim Otis out the transfer portal, you calling him a turd because Alabama didn't want him? How do you know Alabama didn't want him? How do you know that? He played at Alabama, sir. What are you talking about? He played at Alabama. I saw it. There's pictures of him playing. Guys, you can type in his name, University of Alabama. You're going to see he touched that damn field when Coach Saban was there. He touched the field. He played. How you know they didn't want him? Or he just chose to come. Maybe he liked Coach Prime. He want to come play with him. You don't know that. Then you say he's a turd nobody wants. You crazy, man. Crazy.
Ohio State and Michigan, and you haven't even offered him yet. That doesn't make any sense.
It sounds like you mad because he's not going after your guys. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, maybe he don't want your son. Maybe that's why. And you're supposed to be a legacy player. Maybe your son should go there. But like you said, your son went to the University of Alabama. Hopefully he has a real good time there. Roll Tide.
So if Roper goes to Alabama and doesn't really play for 2 years or something bad happens, knock on wood, which I don't think that would happen.
Let me ask you this, Matt. So if your son go to the University of Alabama and he don't play for 4 years and don't play, but he got his education, are you going to call him a turd? Are you going to call him a turd if he don't play?
Then he's recruitable.
The kid a turd when he got his degree? Is he a turd? He got his degree. He won. And got a free education. He won. Life ain't all about football, sir. Last time I checked, the top 3 people on Forbes' list, they never played college football. Last time I checked.
It's other people's trash because you got beat out. I'm just telling you, I would never take him because I had a principle about myself. If I couldn't get him from the jump, and you beat me out for that kid, I'll be damned if I go get him again. You're not coming back to me now. When I told you that was what's gonna happen at that place.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
no, I get it.
They'll take SEC guys because they played in the SEC, but they can't play.
But how do you know they can't play? SEC, man, let me tell you something. Alabama, they got their rosters is so deep that their 4 strings can go play anywhere in the country. It's hard to get reps there.
My whole point is that you couldn't get them from jump, though. See, that's the issue I have. Like, you got to go after them from jump and do a better job.
They don't. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Especially, look, I understand people think Colorado's like bust, but that's not what. Especially with linemen, we got fucking dudes everywhere. So, again, it's on them. I hope they make the changes necessary. But again, that is some real hard looks in the mirror, and then accepting that the media is going to call.
No. I think you need to look in the mirror for calling somebody's son a turd, somebody's baby a turd. I think you need to look in the damn mirror.
When you make a change and you think it's for the better, real hard looks in the mirror, and then accepting that the media is going to call you. When you make a change and you think it's for the better, the media is going to call you out and be like, well, why didn't you do it sooner? Because
you see that? He said the media again. And let me go back to what he said. He said the only way to put pressure on Coach Prime, because he said Coach Prime has the keys at the University of Colorado. They're not going to do anything to him. The only way to put pressure on him is through the media. He said the media going to be, well, why didn't you do it sooner? See, what he's saying is, guys, it don't matter. Coach Prime, whether he's damned if he do, damned if he don't, they still going to put pressure on him. Because they're going to say, okay, now that you made the change, why didn't you do it sooner? You see, he's telling on himself. He's telling on himself.
Everybody's an expert. So I hope Coach Prime gets the opportunity to fix the problem, and I hope that they change things. And I'm going to continue to try and help them out as much as I can. But my job is not to just help CU.
You're going to continue to help them out as much as you can. So I don't want your kind of help. I'm sorry. I don't want your kind of help. You're going to try to help them as much as you can after all this? I don't want your help. I don't want your help. If I was Coach Prime, I don't want your help. I got enough help. Okay? I don't need your help. I got Coach Sapp. Okay? I don't need your help. And another thing, Gerard played at the University of Colorado, and he's helping the offensive line as a coach right now. Interesting. But he don't care about, okay. But isn't Gerard there as a coach, sir? Huh? Isn't he there as a coach? That's your friend, right? He hired him. Are you mad that he didn't hire you? He hired your friend, and he played at the University of Colorado. And didn't Coach Prime bring former players from the University of Colorado there so they can be on the field? Remember Westbrook was on the field helping out the receivers? Why don't you help out some more? Westbrook did it. Why can't you do it? Westbrook did it. Why can't you do it? I had to repeat it twice for you because you it seemed like you had some problem with your memory. Westbrook did it. Why can't you do it? Instead of sitting up there running your flappers. And when Coach Prime was the leader in this conversation, talking about the problems, the problematic areas in the transfer portal, who would know more about that than Coach Prime? He utilized that transfer portal since he was at Jackson State. He knows, he's an expert in the transfer portal, and he knows the problems it has. He's the leader in that conversation. But you're going to continue to help out. Okay. I wouldn't want your help at this point. No. And this is what I want to, here's my plea to Coach Prime. Coach Prime, I have a plea to you, sir. Can you please take one of this dude players, please, so he can be quiet, please. Please just bring one of his players there, please. Maybe it's he's trying to get his players, place one of his players there, sir, please, because Matt is gonna blow a gasket. And he's telling on himself. Well, he doesn't recruit in the in-state and this and that. Coach Prime, give one of his players a look, man. Please. Bring one of his players in to soften this man up a little bit. Because he's hurt. Coach Prime, I plead to you right now. This man is hurting. Okay? Give one look to one of the players. Okay? Yeah, look at one of Matt's players, coach. He's been causing problems and he's been brewing. This thing has been brewing all year. And I remember when he announced, was it Andre Gerard? I believe is his name. He played at the University of Colorado and the NFL over 10 years. And he became offensive lineman coach there, right? And when he announced that, I saw the look in his face. He was happy for his friend. He was hurt at the same time. I know he was. Coach, at least take one of his players, man. Can you do that? Coach, give his son a shot, coach. Come on. Matt played there, coach. He played at the University of Colorado. Can you let his son play there, man? Can you do that? Because if he's like his dad, he's gonna be a good player, coach. I'm gonna say that, coach. I can vouch for Matt because he did play for the New York Jets. Okay, for a little bit. He did. So if his son have any of that tenacity, his son's gonna be a good player. Coach, give him a shot, coach. Give him a shot because this guy, he brought his players up there, coach. Come on, man. Recruit some of his players, coach. Please. Please, so this man could stop. Yeah, Matt's son might help the lineman group at CU. Yeah, please bring him in. Because if he's anything like his dad, he's gonna be one of those players, coach, that he cares. He's gonna be in his playbook. He's gonna watch film. So he might be a good addition to your squad next year. Please bring him in. And then Matt, and I guarantee you, Matt, everything will be all forgiven. Matt was a beast. He was. As much as I'm not hating on him. He was a beast. I'm just using his words against him. But he was a beast when he played. I think he need to come up there and help the squad out. If he can coach, he might as well come up there and at least help out. But that's what I have today. Matt went on Coach JB show and Smitty. He's been going around. He's been making his rounds. He's been on oh my God, he went on what's his name? I forget his name, but he don't went to the, the number one CU critic. He went over there. So it's just been a mess. I know he's a big dude and his son will be the same. Maybe he'd come up to CU. He said he'd being recruited to Alabama, but I think Matt would prefer him to go there. So hopefully they'll recruit him to come there. And then it'll all be, you won't hear from Matt again. And he'll be like, he win or lose, he'll be with CU. Win or lose. So, but that's what he's doing, man. Shout out to you, Matt, anyway. I hate to have had to do this to a Jets player, but hey, man, sometime it calls for it. Somebody had to answer you back because Bucky and them can't do it properly because the media will be all over it, right? I'm going to do it because you were wrong. Calling somebody child a turd. You were wrong. That's somebody's child. How you think they feel you calling their kid a turd? You just want your son. I know, Matt, you just want your son to come play there. Let him. I hope they recruit him. I hope they do. So, because if he's anything like you, he's going to be good. If he's anything like you. And at least I could say that, even though you're up there hating. But it's all good, Matt. How's everybody doing today on this Tuesday? I hope everybody's doing well. And Matt will be all right, guys. Matt is a little upset, but he'll be all right. All he got to do is call Coach on the phone. You got his number, Matt. Give him a call. Like, Matt, you could be like, Coach, I can help you. I know what you need. I can help you. I got the personnel. I got people that you can bring in there from high school. I got the people. Why don't you just call them? And then you can help out. And then also, Matt, when you talk to the team, you have them learn that damn song. Because they haven't been singing it. I agree with you. They haven't been singing it. But you're supposed to be there like, look, guys, you're going to learn this song. And you're going to play it after every win. You're going to sing it. You got to come up there. You know what I'm saying? Jason Whitlock, Sweet Pea, right. So that's all I got to say about it. His rants do be kind of crazy. He do. He be jumping out the window with it. He do be crashing out. Especially when he starts screaming. Y'all ain't hear that. When he start off talking normal, then he starts screaming. So he do be crashing out. So I think he should his son is being recruited by Alabama. So I would think, shit, bring your son to CU. Coach said he's not hard to find. I guarantee you and your son talk to coach. Coach will talk him into a position. Coach like, okay, you a dog? Are you like him? You like your old man? Okay. You think you can play as a freshman? You think I could trust you? Yeah, coach, I got you. I really want to play here. I'm going to be in my playbook, coach. I'm going to be on that film. I bet you coach will take him. Bet you. Coach is looking for dogs, Matt. That's what he's looking for, Matt. He's looking for dogs. If you got him, come bring him. He's looking for the dogs. He's looking for somebody to be in that playbook. Somebody that be in that film room. He's looking for it. So if you got him, unleash him. That's all I got to say about it. Hey, man, it's all fair, love, and war. Hey, man, this is not personal. I just believe in community. And I don't believe in somebody's child being called a turd. I don't. So I believe it's a community, and I'm going to say something. Because if it's my kid, I'm gonna take issue with you calling him a turd. And I probably couldn't answer you back because if my kid is high profile, it's gonna get into the media. So it's hard for people to answer you back, and you know that. But guess what? I raised my hand. I'll just do it. I interjected and didn't mind my business. I didn't mind my business, and here we are. But you have a good one, sir. That's it. I won't answer you no more. How's everybody doing? Al Smith, how are you doing? You said, aren't you signed as CP? Stop playing with that boy. Um, You said he playing dress up. I don't know what he doing. I think he was. You said was Matt signed? I'm not sure. If he want to be Coach Prime, Detroit Gemini, why don't he just go help? It's easy to just go up there and help the offensive line or the defensive line. He might can bring some news that they can use. He might can help out, but maybe he don't feel like he's a part of the program. He don't feel like he feel like an outsider. He's not an outsider. He actually played there. He's not an outsider. Every time I see him, he gets on the field. He has his way in there. He's not an outsider. He's part of the alumni. He's not an outsider. So he can go on that walk that field he want to and help them kids out. Matt get agent fees and a cut of the NIL from these players. Let's be honest. I didn't know that. I know he do send players to certain universities. He said it. So I don't know. I didn't know that he's getting a cut out of it. Let me tell you this, guys. I'm helping a friend out of mine, a really good friend right now. Her son is being recruited by everybody, even the SEC. So she's leaning on me. She's like, you got to help me out here. Should I ask for a cut? The answer is no. I'm not asking a cut for his money. The answer is no. She's doing it herself. She's not hiring an agent. She's doing it all herself. And I'm helping her in different things like that. And because he likes playing video games, he could care less about recruiting. He's like a skateboarder and he played video games. He's a really good student. But the thing is, he's like Travis, like he played video games. But he turns into Superman on the field. It's a crazy thing. Travis is like that. Travis being his onesies, playing his game, and they be, in there, but him and his wife, they both like that. They both smart cookies. How they be in their onesies. But when he get on the field, he's a beast. It's like he turns it on and off. And it just so happened that he's just really good at football. The game comes easy to him. That's how her son is. The game comes easy to him. And I don't even know how he be doing the shit he doing on the field. It was this one play. I just happened to be out there watching. She said, watch this. Watch what they about to do. She knew what play they were going with. The quarterback, he did an audible and he did his index finger a certain way. She said, watch what he do. He just threw the ball up. The dude was in triple coverage. He grabbed it with one hand and then caught the ball. And she said they needed a touchdown, so they went with that play. And then he did some type of slant pattern, double coverage. It wasn't that the quarterback threw it in any particular way. He just grabbed it. He snagged it. It's almost like he's playing with kids out there, man, because he's like 6'5", like 240 and some change already. He's a junior already. But I'm talking about it's all muscle. It's it's genetics, But off the field, Mom, can we go have some pizza? Can we have some pizza? He's like a kid. He's a kid, but he's a beast on the field. And he video games and shit. You know how they do. He collect those figurines. Them Japanese figurines. I can't remember what you call them. That's really expensive that she be buying. He likes those. Pokemon and shit. But then he get on the field, he's whooping ass. It's crazy. It's crazy to see. She said, you have to come see this for yourself. And he knows the whole playbook. It's just that when it comes to football, he's just really, really good at it. And he understands it. And he's being recruited and stuff like that. But she has to do all the work because, he's a child. He's not going to do it himself. So, and she sure as hell not trusting no agent. Not at this level. So doing it all herself. You said he does not want to be Dion. He attends all the CU games. He can't teach the team a song if he's not invited. Matt Point is recruiting. He is unhinged, but he's not wrong about recruiting. He is wrong about recruiting. You might not know this. She don't know this, guys. Amanda, she's ignorant to this fact. She doesn't know. When I say ignorant to the fact, you ignorant about the recruiting part, meaning you not knowing. You know who Draylon Miller is? She don't know who he is. He got him from high school. Do you know who Cam Michael is? No, you don't, because you wouldn't have said that. He got him from high school. Do you know who Jordan Seaton is? Probably so, because he's popular. Did you know he didn't get him from college? He didn't get Jordan Seaton from the transfer portal. I know it looks like he did. He got him from high school. He got Travis from high school. He got Cameron Silman Craig from high school. And he played for him in high school, by the way. And he's in NFL now. He developed all these kids. Right now, he's developing them. You know, Staub, high school. Because he came in to see you from high school. He may not recruit his Staub, but he stayed. He's developing them. The list goes on and on. You know, Farrakhan, high school. And he's developing Farrakhan. And here's the thing. Do you know what else? He also recruited a bunch of people from IMG Academy, one of the best programs in high school right now. He got recruits coming in from IMG. See, the thing is, Amanda, he can't be everywhere at the same time because he only have a certain amount of roster spots. So he recruits about, I don't know, 40% high school, the rest transfer portal. Because you know what he said? He said some of them, he said you're going to have a certain percentage that's not going to stay with your program, even if they came from high school. They're not going to stay. He said this, Coach Prime, Amanda said, this is the nature of college football. He said because of the transfer portal, you're going to have some that leave. And he said he's concerned about the ones that stay. Those are the ones he developed. But the reason why he hits the transfer portal is for maturity. That's why. You need a certain amount of maturity and you need a certain amount of high school people. So the people that's mature, they can help out the high school people. And then after a 4-year period, now he has built the program up. That's what he's doing. But the only reason why it's a step back because he lost so many people to the NFL. So now he's rebuilding again. So technically, I'm gonna have to say he's in his year too, because last year wasn't gonna last because they all were leaving. And guess what? A lot of people that left last year, he had them for multiple years. They follow him there. He had Travis for 3 years. He had Shador for 4 years. He had Shiloh for 4 years. Silman Craig for 4 years. But unfortunately, it's time for them to move on. But yes, he's had those players a long time, some of them. And here's another thing that happened. You remember when he first came to Colorado, he said he bringing his Louis luggage and all that. You remember all those players that left? He didn't kick them all off the team. Did you know that? It was only a few that he said it wasn't going to work out. The rest of them decided to hit the transfer portal on their own to show him up because they hit the transfer portal right before the spring game, if y'all don't remember. Those players, they did it on purpose. He didn't kick them off the team. So he started behind the 8 ball. Okay. Just so y'all know. Oh. The only reason why I did this is because some people forget history. And he had to hit they said, well, he had a huge roster overhaul. No, he didn't. They decided to leave. He did not run them off. Let me tell you something, right? If I'm a dog and I know I can play, there's nothing coach can tell me. I'm still going to stay there and earn my keep. Like the real ones did. You know that safety over there now that's playing. He stayed at CU the whole time. He didn't leave. That's why coach gave him a scholarship. He respected him so much. That's why he gave the running back a full scholarship and then kept his scholarship even though he's not with the team anymore. You know what else coach said to him? I'm going to find out how you can go to medical school for free. We got to find out how we can pay for that. He said that. You don't think that mean anything? He told Charlie that. We're going to figure out, I got some contacts out there. We're going to figure out how you go to medical school for free. He said that. And Charlie said, you don't got to do that, coach. No, I'm going to do that. Because I like you. What did he tell Governor? He said, you're going to be a leader one day. And I can't wait to see it. How you think that kid, man? How you think that kid feel, man? When coach said that to him. This is more than just football. That's what Matt is not understanding. And you remember the first year, the governor had a speaking engagement. And then he went to coach. He said, hey, man, can you help me out? I need a tie. And coach, not only did he hook him up with a tie, he hooked him up with some shoes. How you think that kid feel, man? How you think that kid felt, man, when he did that? See, Matt is not thinking about that. It's more than just football up there. He know 90% of them not going to the NFL. He said, I'm trying to turn them into men. That's why he be giving them the speeches he's giving. Those speeches he give, that hits home with me. You know how he said you need to give it your all every day? He talking to me. I only need to be good. I be taking out. I'd be taking that to heart. I was okay. I need to be going hard over here. I need to be going hard in what I'm doing or whatever it is I'm doing. It's more than just football, man. How you think the governor felt, man? When he was like, hey, coach, man, I'm about to do this speaking engagement. Can you hook me up? And then coach was showing him how to wear a suit. He said, yeah, it got to fit like this. It got to do this. You need a pocket square, this and that. And I think I got some shoes for you. That's the type of guy he is. See, the thing is, when coach be talking, when he be talking in the media, people take that the wrong way. Like, oh, he into himself. He cocky. He's a narcissist. Narcissist won't help a kid like that. He wouldn't. He would make himself unavailable. A narcissist wouldn't have said to Charlie Offendahl, we're going to figure out how we're going to pay for your college beyond undergrad. That's not a narcissist. So why would he say that? Why would he say that the program is ran by nepotism and narcissism? So there was a reason why I had to come here and say something to him. You said Neely did the interview? Neely or Coach Prime? He said he don't develop? That's not true. He developed Travis Hunter. He's developing Jordan Seaton. He's developing Cam Michael. He's developing Draylon Miller. He said we have identified now what Draylon Miller is. He's like Debo Samuel. They have identified it now. He's all purpose. He's all purpose. How do you think that other kid feel this year during the games? He walked with Coach Prime on the sidelines, and he said Coach Prime was almost in tears because the kid asked him to do it. He said, "You want to walk with me? Okay." Yeah, this is not what you think it is. I can see it. I'm not even with the program, and I know it's what it's not. I know it's more than just football. I could tell. I could tell. Okay, they win some, you lose some. I mean, what do you want to do? You got to lose in life to win. That's the only way you're gonna learn to be great. Let me prove it to you. Anybody in here play chess? Press one if you play chess. You know if you lose, you're gonna get better. The more and more you lose, you get better because you understand where the tricks and traps are, and you won't let it happen next time. When somebody hits you with a move, you're like, oh man, I see what he's doing. He's trying to mate me in three moves. It's not happening. All I gotta do is just move like that and do this. Some of it is memory, and then some of it you learn over time for losing. You lose some, you get better. Okay, he might have made some mistakes as a coach, but he gonna get better for it. The only reason why I think he's going hard because he don't want him there. You say Coach Prime created his own 8 ball by how he crassly addressed the players when he first came. Shit, it didn't stop Ben Fenneseff. The real one stayed. Charlie Arfendahl stayed. The real one stayed. Okay? The real one said, oh, it's all about competition. Ben Fenneseff said, no problem. I like the competition. That's why he's still there. Burley Allen. That's why it ain't no Burley right, Louis. And she not right. Or he or she is not right. Ben Fenneseff was part of the Louis luggage because he stayed. Charlie Arfendahl was part of the Louis luggage because he stayed. Okay? That didn't stop the governor. He didn't transfer. He's there. That didn't stop Arden Walker. Because I don't think they recruited Arden Walker was coming there anyway when Coach Prime. It just so happened he was there. Arden Walker stayed. He wanted to see who was going to leave and he was going to fish him out. They left because they wanted to leave. I don't care what he's saying. I'm saying what I'm saying right now because you guys are not, you taking it out of context. That's what you're doing. You're taking what he said out of context. Ben Fenneseff stayed. He stayed the whole, and he's playing right now. He's playing. Win or lose, he playing. Shit, if coach came in and said that to me, I said, oh, shoot, I like competition. Oh, I love competition because I'm going to sit there and watch that film like nobody's business. Y'all not going to outplay me. Y'all not going to outprepare me because I'm going to be sitting there watching that film. I'm taking it as a challenge. Did the Louis luggage rub people the wrong way? Yes, it did. I agree with you. It rubbed people the wrong way. But I'm going to tell you something. Half those players that left, they decided to leave on their own. He didn't run them out. He wouldn't have ran me out. I love the competition. I love the spotlight and the competition. I like when somebody we compete and they might beat me here and there. That means I'm gonna get better. Iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. Ashe. It sure does. That's right. You said it's all MAGA propaganda. Whoa, check this out. Let me tell you something about this MAGA propaganda. I heard that. Somebody came up here and said that. It's MAGA propaganda, isn't it? You think so? So are you calling Coach Prime MAGA? Is that what you calling him? Al Smith? You said it's all MAGA propaganda being done. It's like Warner Brothers. Blacks building and the whites want to take over. You think it's MAGA? You said only one player who left the NFL is looking to draft? Due to their proximity, like people like Matt. Right. It could be the case. But let me talk about this MAGA situation for a second. Trump knows Prime. He does. He's known him for a long time. Oh man, y'all gotta do y'all research, man. Y'all better do your research. No, I know what is Matt doing, but Matt have no idea that Trump, that Coach Prime could call Trump right now if he wanted to. He don't know that because they know each other. You know he used to play for the New York Yankees, right? And he been knowing about Coach Prime forever. But anyway, yeah, I see what you're saying about Matt, but I don't know if Matt is MAGA or not. He just feels strong in his convictions, but he's wrong though. He is. He wrong. Okay, let me just say this. I don't agree with him calling people turds and all that stuff. I don't agree with that. We can agree to disagree. Well, Trump was watching Shador. He was waiting for him to get drafted. Let me tell you something that Trump did one time. Now, this is crazy. Trump, he was getting ready to meet with the Prime Minister of Japan, right? At the White House. At the White House, he put him on hold for a minute. Like he didn't come out to greet him yet until Tiger Woods won the Masters. Because Tiger was getting ready to win the Masters. He kept the president of Japan the Prime Minister of Japan waiting. It was until the last tee when Tiger won the Masters just to call him real quick, just so he can be the first one to call him and congratulate him. He did that. And then met with the president of Japan. That rubbed people the wrong way when he did that. You said, how the heck am I misconstruing what he said? Well, I'm not here to debate with you. I'm here to talk to Matt. That's all. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm here to talk to Matt. And I did what I had to do. I'm sorry people in here feeling triggered. I'm not sorry. If you triggered, you triggered. You said that's you. You are not those players. Yeah, but he's calling them turds, though. He calling out their name. That's not right. He's supposed to be uplifting them, not sitting there calling them bums. Okay? That's what he's calling them. He don't know if they there just for a check. He didn't say that to Chidozie. So you're calling Chidozie a mercenary as well? Chidozie came back to talk to the team. He had some harsh words for the team, though. He called them soft. He said, y'all soft. And Chidozie transferred in out the transfer portal. He's not a mercenary. He was one of the hardest workers they had. So you're getting triggered because when you said that's you put an exclamation point there after that's you. So you yelled. You don't have to get triggered and yell in the comments. No, don't do that. Have a good Tuesday. You got to have a good Tuesday. This is sports talk. This is not political. You see what I'm saying? I can see if it's political. We're talking sports, but I'm really getting at Matt though. Montana Lamone. You talking about Montana Lamonius Craig? Oh, let me just say this. There's one player that left CU after the Louis Luggage speech that is going to the NFL. He's a wide receiver. He was the one that had broke his leg. And did you know Coach Prime had identified him? When Coach Prime met with the receivers after the Louis Luggage speech, he talked to him. He said, yeah, that's very impressive what you did. And you a walk-on too, huh? He said, yeah. He said, your stats is very impressive. Coach Prime identified him. He identified him that quick. He know a dog when he see one, but the kid left on his own. Coach Prime didn't tell him to leave. He left on his own. Okay, that was the player that went to Arizona. His name is Jordan Tyson. That's what I'm talking about. Coach Prime had identified him. Go look at Bucky. Go back and look at Bucky's video. He said, "Man, that's very, very impressive with the numbers you put up. Very impressive." Coach Prime identified him. You said nobody agrees with anyone being called out of their name. Yes, you do. Because I don't care what Matt is saying. Everything he said has been when he started calling them kids out of their name, that negated everything he's trying to say. He's crossed the line now. These are, guess what? You know, Amanda, do you know those mercenaries? They all have degrees. They're student athletes first. Did you know? Watch this. Hold on. Listen to me real quick. This is the first time in CU history last year, or it was this year, that the players have the highest GPA. Did you know that? So are they mercenaries? Yes or no? And collectively, that team has the highest GPA in Colorado history. And he only been there 3 years. Yes or no? Are they mercenaries? That's my question to you. So that's why he's out of pocket. He's wrong. The highest GPA in CU history. Guys, this is too easy for me. Thank you guys for listening. I'm out of here. Thank you guys for listening. I believe in community. I believe in nobody. If somebody is being called a mercenary and turds, I will have something to say. Because these are somebody's children. And they collectively have the highest GPA in CU history. I think it was either this year or last year. I can't remember. They're not mercenaries. Max, 2 years running GPA, right. So it's more than just football. They don't talk about that. That's a success. That's a success. And they sitting up here, this and that, and this and Matt is woofing. They have the highest GPA in CU history, 2 years running. That's a success. Because remember, they're student athletes first. Remember that. Student athletes, not mercenary athletes. Student athletes. Thank you. Y'all have a good day. And if you triggered, you stay triggered. But if you bless, always stay blessed. I'll holler.